Hi everyone. Once again, welcome back to the finite element analysis of shaft. This is fourth session. Once again, in this session, we are going to solve the problem, but here we are going to fix both ends of the shaft. Once again, I am going to consider the stepped shaft fixed at both the ends. Now, the learning outcome for this session is to solve the given problem. Now, once again, this is the problem. A shaft of solid circular section is subjected to a torsional moment of 120 kilonewton meter at the junction as shown in the figure. So, this is the figure. So, at the junction of two portions of the shaft, it is subjected to a torque of 120 kilonewton meter, where both the ends of the shafts are fixed. Then the diameter of each portion it is given. For the first portion it is 200 mm, for the second it is 120 mm. Now for this problem we need to determine the angle of twist, that is first case, then shear stress in the shaft, and finally we also need to find out the reaction at the fixed support. So once again he has given the modulus of rigidity, that is shear modulus, that is 80 gigapascal. Now once again I need to convert all the units in terms of mm or in terms of meters. So anyhow, let us convert everything in terms of meter. Now length is given in terms of mm, then the diameter is given in terms of mm. So those are the two things I am going to convert in terms of uh, meters. Those are in terms of mm. I need to convert those in terms of meter. Now the G value is 80 gigapascal, nothing but it is 80 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton per meter square. Diameter 200 mm, therefore it is 200 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Then my another portion diameter is 120 mm, therefore it is 120 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Of course, here I have not shown the conversion of this in terms of mm. So it is 400 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter, and this is 200 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. That is conversion of length in terms of meter. Now once the unit uniformity is done, now I'll proceed with the solution using FEM approach. First I need to do the FEM model. Now same thing, once again I am going to consider here with two elements, because both the portions are of different cross section. Once again the three nodes, two element, three nodes, and possible displacement theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 at node number 1, 1, 2, 3 respectively. Then T1, T2, T3, the possible application of torques at node number 1, 2, 3. That is what I have mentioned here. Now the second step is I need to do with the calculation of element stiffness matrix. So I'll do the first calculation for the first element. So therefore I know the stiffness matrix for the shaft element. It is Jg divided by Le. So once again I need to substitute the polar moment of inertia. It's once again it's a solid circular shaft, therefore it is pi by 32 into d1 raised to 4 into g divided by length of the element for the first portion. Therefore here d1 diameter for the first portion is 200 mm. I have converted that with meters by multiplying with 10 raised to minus 3. It is d1 raised to 4, so that raised to 4 applied as it is. Then modulus of rigidity, it is 80 into 10 to the power of 9. Then as I told, length is in terms of mm, so that also I converted in terms of meter. So therefore it is 400 into 10 to the power of minus 3, and that matrix of 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 as it is. Then when I solve this, I'm going to get the value as 31.42 into 10 to the power of 6. Then that 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 matrix as it is. Then in the next case what I will do, I will take that 31.42 inside the matrix, multiply with all these four terms, 10 to the power of 6 I'll keep it outside. Therefore it becomes 31.42 minus 31.42 minus 31.42, and this is plus 31.42. And once again the two displacement associated with the first element is 1 and 2. So that 1 and 2 I mentioned horizontally and vertically. So this will help when I am doing the global stiffness matrix. Now similarly I need to do the calculation of the second element stiffness matrix. So same Jg divided by Le for the second portion, where diameter for the second portion changes. Once again G value is same, but length of the element for the second portion changes. So I have substituted all the values here. Diameter for the second portion is 120 mm converted in terms of meter. G value is 80 into 10 to the power of 9 as it is. Then the length of the element for the second portion is 200 mm, so that I have converted once again in terms of meter by multiplying with 10 raised to minus 3. Then when I solve this entire value, it will be 8.14 into 10 to the power of 6, then 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 matrix as it is. Then in the next step, what I will do, I will take that 8.14 into inside the matrix by multiplying with all these 4 terms, keeping 10 to the power of 6 outside, because in the previous K1 matrix also I have taken 10 to the power of 6 outside, so that this both common of 10 to the power of 6 outside I can take while I am doing global stiffness matrix. Now once again, the two displacement associated with the second element is 2 3, therefore I'll write 2 3 horizontally, 2 3 vertically, so that it will helpful when I am doing the global stiffness matrix. Now once again, here I have 3 nodes, at each node single displacement, therefore I am going to get a 3 cross 3 matrix as a global stiffness matrix. So that is what I mentioned here, 1 2 3 horizontally, 1 2 3 vertically. Then I'll go on putting the value of 1 of 1, that is 31.42, 2 of 1, it is minus 31.42. Once again, 3 of 1, I don't have any value, it is 0. Then similarly 1 of 2, it is minus 31.42. Then once again, the 2 of 2, I have 2 values, that is at the junction I have 2 value, 2 of 2, there is a 1 value in the K1 matrix, and 2 of 2, there is a 1 more value in the K2 matrix. When I add those two, it is 39.56, that is it is 31.42 plus 8.14, therefore it is 39.56 is the value. Then similarly 3 of 2 I will put the value, then similarly 1 of 3 it is 0, 2 of 3 it is minus 8.14, then 3 of 3 it is 8.1 plus 8.14, that is the value. So that is value I have mentioned, therefore I am going to get the global stiffness matrix. Now once I get the global stiffness matrix, so next I need to put the that in the equilibrium condition. Once again, in this case my equilibrium condition is K into theta is equal to T, that is where K is the global stiffness matrix, then theta is the angular displacement matrix, and T is the torque matrix. So no, in the previous step we have calculated the global stiffness matrix, that is what I am going to mention here. Then my angular displacement matrix is theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, because I have 3 nodes, and that will be equal to torque matrix, that is T1, T2, T3. Then in the next step I will go with the application of boundary condition. Here once again we are going to use the elimination method of boundary condition. So where the fixed conditions, we need to eliminate those particular rows and columns to make it displacement 0. Therefore for this problem I have my node number 1 as well as node number 3, they are fixed. Therefore I need to consider node number 1 and 3. Sorry, here there is a small mistake, instead of 2 this has to be 3. Then theta 1 and theta 3 should be 0. Because of the fixing condition, therefore node number 1 and 3 are fixed, therefore theta 1 is equal to theta 3, that will be equal to 0. Now in the next step what I will do, now I'll substitute the values of T1, T2, T3. Now I don't have any torque at node number 1 because it is completely constrained, and node number 3 also I don't have any torque because that is also a constrained portion, but I have a torque at junction, which is what I have mentioned in the statement of the problem, that value is 120 kilonewton meter. So but in the problem he has not mentioned whether it is acting in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So if it is not mentioned, you go with the clockwise direction with the positive value, therefore it is 120 into 10 to the power of 3 plus value. Then in the next step what I need to do, I need to eliminate the first row, first column, that is related to theta 1. Then I need to eliminate the third row, third column, which is related to theta 3. So those particular rows and columns I need to eliminate. Once it is eliminated, I left out with 39.56. This is the only one value into 10 to the power of 6, which is there at the outside, into theta 2, that will be equal to 120 into 10 to the power of 3, because this is 120 kilonewton meter I given, therefore it is 120 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter. So that is the only one unknown I have, that is theta 2. Therefore my theta 2 is equal to, when I solve this, I am going to get the value as 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3 radians. So that is what the value of theta 2 which is there at the junction. So that is what the solution for the first question. That is what he has asked you to calculate the angle of twist. So angle of twist, that is theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, where theta 1 is a 0, theta 2 is, this is the value 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3 radians. Then my theta 3 is what, my theta 3 is 0 values. So once again, once you have calculated this theta 2, next is I need to calculate the shear stress. Now we know the value for the shear stress. Here matrix I need to consider to calculate the shear stress. So matrix is theta 1 is equal to G into R1, because I am calculating for the first portion. Theta 1 is equal to G into R1 divided by length of the element minus 1 into the displacement associated with the first element. Once again, the displacement associated with the first element is theta 1 and theta 2. That is what I need to consider. Now I'll put all the values here. Once again, my G is modulus of rigidity, which is 80 into 10 to the power of 9. Then radius for the first portion, that is R1, is 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3, because diameter I have given 200 mm. That I have converted in terms of meter. Then length of the first portion is 400 mm, nothing but it is 400 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Then minus 1 as it is. Then I need to substitute the values of theta 1 and theta 2, where theta 1 is 0 because it is completely constrained, and theta 2 is what I have calculated value, that is 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3. That is what I have substituted. Now once this is done, now I need to use the calculator to solve this. So I'll solve this for, first I'll solve this 18 to 10 to the power of 9 into 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by 400 into 10 to the power of minus 3. I'm going to get that value as 2 into 10 to the power of 10. Then this minus 1 as it is, and this matrix as it is. When I do the matrix multiplication here, minus 1 into 0, it is 0. That is what I mentioned. Then 1 into this value is 3.033 into 10 to the power of 3, that same value, into 2 into 10 to the power of 10. So when I do this, I'm going to get the value as 60.66 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton per meter square. Therefore my tau 1 is 60.66 megapascal. So that is the value of shear stress which is there in the first portion of the element. So similarly, I need to calculate the shear stress in the second portion of the element, where I need to consider all the values associated with the second element, where G is same throughout the shaft, only the radius changes. Here I need to consider R2. Then length of the element changes, that I need to consider. Now once again I repeat, please remember, when I am calculating the the shear stress at portion number 2, the two displacement associated with that portion I need to consider, that is theta 2 and theta 3. Now once I substituted all the values here, theta 2 is what I have calculated and theta 3 is 0, and the remaining all the values, R1 is 60, because diameter I given 120, therefore R1 will become 60 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Then length for the second portion is 200 mm, nothing but it is 200 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Now once when I solve this for the first, when I put the calculator and solve this first portion, I am going to get 2.4 into 10 to the power of 10, and this matrix as it is, once again it is minus 1 into this value, and this is 1 into 0, it will become 0. Now when I once again put the calculator and solve this, I'll get the value for shear stress which is there in the second portion, and that value is minus 72.79 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton per meter square, nothing but it is minus 72 into, minus 72.79 megapascal. Then coming to the last portion, that is what the solution we have done for the second problem, that is calculation of the shear stress, that is tau 1 and tau 2 were done. Then we'll go with the third portion of calculation, that is calculation of the reaction. That is what he has asked you to do in the statement of the problem. Now when I come for the reaction, here the two ends are fixed, that is node number 1 and node number 3 are fixed. Therefore I am going to get the two reactions, to calculate those two reactions, I need to consider the first eliminated row and the third eliminated row. So when I consider first eliminated row, I am going to get the reaction R1, which is there at the extreme left hand side. Similarly, when I consider third eliminated row, I am going to get the reaction which is there at the extreme right hand side. So those I am taken it as R1 and R3. So let us calculate first R1. So instead of R1, I have taken the reaction, torque reaction, which is there on the extreme left hand side. That is the notation I have put, that is TL. So TL is equal to, it is first eliminated row. This is what my first eliminated row I have considered. Then displacement matrix as it is, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and that will be equal to T1, and that T1 I have taken on the left hand side, therefore it is minus T1. Now I'll put all the values here. So theta 1 is 0, theta 2 is 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3, then theta 3 is 0, then T1 is also 0. Then when I do the matrix multiplication here, only I left out with this value, that is minus 31.42 into 10 to the power of 6 into 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So when I solve this, I am going to get the reaction at the extreme left hand side, which is minus 95,296.86 Newton meter, nothing but it is minus 95.30 kilonewton meter. Similarly, I need to do the calculation on the extreme right hand side. So that notation I have taken it as a TR, that is torque at the right hand side, and the third eliminated row. So these are the values of third eliminated row. Once again, the displacement matrix as it is, and that will be equal to T3, and that T3 I have taken on the left hand side, therefore it is minus T3. Now I'll put all the values here. Once again, theta 1 is 0, theta 2 is what, 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3, then theta 3 is also 0. Once again, I don't have any torque at node number 3, that also I'll take it 0. So when I do the matrix multiplication, once again I left out with the center value, that is minus 8.14 into 10 to the power of 6 into 3.033 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So when I solve this using calculator, I am going to get the reaction at the extreme right hand side, that is TR, that will be equal to minus 24,688.62 Newton meter, or it is nothing but minus 24.69 kilonewton meter. So that is what the reaction calculation, that is the last bit what he has asked you to do, that is calculation of the reaction. So this is how we can solve the problem when a shaft is fixed at both ends and torque is applied at the junction. So this is the complete solution for the shaft, and thank you for watching the session on finite element analysis of the shaft. Thank you.